when we look at how media, the environment surrounding media, I suppose, the closest examples we can see is the Los Santos murder and the attack on MTV, NBC. But when we keep them aside, we see a certain level of self-censorship that the media practices, and this is due to the psychology that different parties have created amongst people, saying those who are dissenting, those who are opposing what's going on in the north and east, how the military victories are being celebrated, those who are not in line with, those who are not joining on the bandwagon of partying, are ones who are not patriotic. And when you look at the reality of it, that is not that. It's basically people expressing what they want to say about different parties suffering at different extents in the climate surrounding the conflict and the military operations which are going on. And in the north, in the east, where the fighting is actually going on, this might be people who are being people who are denied of their basic rights, and people who are denied of their basic livelihoods, and people don't have people who don't have a place to live, people who undergo aerial bombings. And when you look at the south, when you look at places like Colombo, and when you look at people who are living in the suburbs, this might be people whose basic transportation needs are curtailed because of road closures. It might be people who can't be places, who are worried at traveling at night, whose simple the simple things that we used to enjoy, like hanging out at a place at night. Simple things like that are not practicable anymore because of the insane amount of regulations that has been put out. And media, and as Lasanta so correctly pointed out in the posthumous editorial on the leader, media acts as a reflection of whatever is wrong or whatever should be corrected in a system, and except for a handful of people, I don't see media playing an active role in doing that. And the reasons for that are quite justifiable, because when you think about survival, it's at the end of the day, if people really want, when people think about, not in terms of survival, that's not in spending luxurious lifestyles, but mere survival, being alive, not being an opposing or dissenting voice is completely justifiable. And the other hand is, when you look at the papers, the Sri Lankan newspapers, except for the ones which are state funded, are thinning away. You can see it every week when you look at the papers, how the papers are thinning out. And this is again a result of the indirect suppression of media which took part in the last budget, which is imposing taxes on the import of paper, increasing taxes on the import of paper. And it's moves like that which on a broader sense doesn't allow people to actually, it doesn't actually allow people to talk at all, because A, you don't have spaces to talk about, and B, your safety is, the lack of safety is actually guaranteed if you do voice out, if you do oppose, or if you do dissent from the camp of being the patriots. And it's the psychology which is created again by saying, if you're not with us, you are with them, and if you're not celebrating the joys of another plot of land being captured, you are a traitor. And which is not that. Patriotism is the face of patriotism. The actual essence of patriotism is loving your country. That doesn't mean loving your country blindly. That means loving it, but at the same time seeing what's wrong with it and trying to correct that.